gonna do things like everyone else. My heart is just so freaking excited. You see that little baby? He is the real star. That's Luca, my little mini golden doodle. He just loves taking naps, and I do too. That's why we put a little bed in our little office so we can all just take naps and have a great time. Anyway, guys, welcome back to the channel. Ashley B here. Thanks so much for joining me. This is gonna be a little sit down chit chat with y'all on a very exciting topic, and that is my first wedding update. Honestly, saying that just feels so foreign to me, but it's really happening. And I think what makes this so exciting, and I hope helpful for any of you potential brides out there who might be watching this video, is that we are doing a destination wedding. I'm just so freaking stoked and pumped. We are about 15 months out, so what I'm gonna do in this video is I'm gonna break down everything that we've done so far and any kind of tips and tricks that I have as well for you guys. If you guys are potentially considering a destination wedding, you know, what's the potential cost of it? What are the pros and cons? What do you have to consider? What makes it a little harder than, you know, normal weddings, and why essentially we are going with this route. If you haven't already and you like lifestyle and travel content, especially on a budget, that's kind of my specialty. Definitely go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and the notifications bell so you never miss a video. I'm gonna do a wedding series for you guys, so definitely save this playlist for all of you brides out there, because it is so interesting planning a destination wedding, and honestly, so much fun. So how did we even pick to do a destination wedding? Good question. So my fiance and I, Alan, we got engaged in Florence, Italy. If you're interested in seeing that video, you can click it in the links below. But we realized on that trip that we are just both so obsessed with traveling and having adventures, and we both also like to do it on a budget. We have so much fun, but we don't have to spend millions and millions of dollars in order to have fun. So when we got engaged, I always thought, you know, I would be the type of person that would spend a million years to plan my wedding, or, you know, just put it off. But I just got so excited. So I started doing a lot of research, and we live in Columbus, Ohio. And he also has family, though. He's from Michigan, and I lived in California, in Los Angeles, for over 10 years. So we have people just kind of everywhere. Like we have people in Cleveland, in Michigan, near Detroit, in Columbus, in Florida, in California. So for really anyone, it was going to be a destination. It was just a matter of where. So I started looking at venues. I especially picked venues in Michigan, and for the amount of people we wanted and the type of wedding, you know, I wanted a nice wedding. I looked at venues in Michigan and in Cleveland, and I did have some hookups in Cleveland, and everything was pricing out to be 50 grand or more. And honestly, Alan and I are paying for the wedding ourselves. You know, we're in our 30s, and we're very excited about that. You know, it does mean a lot to us that we can do something like that, but with that means we need to do it on a budget. You know, we're looking to get a home hopefully this next year, and we're just not the type of people who would spend 50 plus grand for one day. And that was my big thing. You know, the number one thing I hear among brides is that it goes by so quickly, and I can't believe I spend this much money. I can't believe I put this much stress. And I think being in our 30s, it just makes us just way less stressed out over all the little particulars. I also worked in the news industry and the entertainment industry, and in those worlds, it's just always so crazy. So I kind of know how to produce events and things like that. And I know that something like this is just not something I want to put a ton of stress into. So I'm budgeting that up, and honestly, I'm getting stressed out thinking about, I'm getting sad too that like something that we would want to do would cost so much money. So I started just looking up destination weddings on YouTube and TikTok and Pinterest, and they just looked so fun and a lot more affordable. But in our head too, we're just such big travelers. Like, why would we not pick something where we would get to travel with our whole family? So I contacted Destination Weddings. They have like consultants that are your travel coordinators and also wedding planners through Destination Weddings. So it's completely included. And just started scoping it out. And this seemed to be like such a better option for what we were looking for, that would be a lot less stress, that would be way more days, with the people we love and a lot more fun. Doesn't mean we're necessarily going to save a ton of money, but for us, it's just a bigger bang for our buck. And when we realized, wow, we could do this and kind of also include a little bit of a honeymoon, and I'll get to that later in another video, then this would just mean so much more to us and we'd have so much more time with our loved ones. It does mean that it's going to be a lot smaller of a number than what we would have had if it was in Michigan and Ohio, but that's how we landed on choosing a destination wedding, and we're all just gonna have so much fun. So in terms of location, we narrowed it down to Mexico and Dominican Republic. We definitely wanted somewhere tropical, and although it would have been fun to have a wedding in Europe, we just knew that that was not going to be ideal for our guests. It also was gonna be a lot harder to plan because there wasn't a sort of destination weddings type of website to work through. So we decided to go with Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, and I couldn't be more thrilled. But then the next step came picking our resort. And this definitely gave me the most stress. This is just self-induced stress, guys. But picking our resort, this is just so hard because you're not there. So you're just basing all your decisions off of pictures and reviews and things like that. But this is what I realized was the most helpful. I joined a bunch of Facebook groups. There are a bunch of destination weddings, brides Facebook groups, and I also watched a lot of YouTube videos. And when I say YouTube videos is because people are giving their reviews, but I really liked when people would actually show the resort, what it was really like, not just these fancy pictures by each of the resorts' websites. They would show the actual video of like what it was really like. So there are a ton to choose from. We wanted one that wasn't like the Hard Rock or Margaritaville or something like that that felt like a place you could go in the United States. We wanted something that felt like we're definitely soaking up this culture and this region, and you can only go to it kind of like in that area. We had to put down our deposit. Now, a big thing of planning your destination wedding is the time of year, because you just don't want it too hot. So it's really interesting because you feel like you have the whole year, but you don't, because destination weddings, you want to send your save the dates at least a year out. So you have to plan this like at least a year and a half away. And when you think about it and you really go over the weather, and I had the fortunate privilege of working with my meteorologist on my news team and kind of deciding what the best dates would be to go with. You don't really want it to be around spring break, and you do not want it to be in hurricane season. So that's like massive chunks of time. Okay, you don't want it to be like March, April, that's spring break. You don't want it to be hurricane season, that's June to September. So what is the best time to go? So we realized the best time for us would be November, December-ish. And so many people are just booking out these dates, right? So you have to plan way far in advance. And you also have to think like when flights would be somewhat affordable. So we ended up booking ours for December of 2024. This was so exciting. And to just kind of budget out, like, wow, the guests will have to stay there a minimum of 3 nights. This is going to be so much fun. It's not just one day. It'll probably fly by regardless, but at least we'll have 3 full days with people. And of course, they could stay a lot longer too. So what I was saying about a little honeymoon is that we're also gonna stay a few extra days for like a mini moon and go on these little excursions, little adventures that you could go on. And then about 6 months later, we're going to go on an epic honeymoon. But all of this included, including reception, including a welcome party, including the food and catering and the mini moon, I think will still be less expensive than planning a wedding here in the States. The thing that I like the most is that there's only so much planning you can do as a bride. Our wedding coordinator, her name is Maggie, and she's just wonderful. I'll go ahead and put her link in my description below. Maggie said the hardest thing for destination brides is the waiting around, because there's only so much you can do. So here are the things that you can do about 15 months out. So you definitely want to book your venue again at least 18 to the 15 months out, so you at least have that down. You also want to start thinking about whether to do a site visit and just turn it into like a little vacation closer to the beginning/spring of next year. And with that, it's going to be so much fun because we get to go to the location, have fun, make it a little almost like pre-wedding visit, and also try all the different food options, see all the different ceremony locations, and kind of run through it with the whole team. But these teams put on weddings every day probably, or every other day, or every weekend. So they've got this down to a science, and picking our decor and things like that will also come closer to that site visit. So again, there's not much you can do right now in terms of, food, decor, things like that. But I love that there's not a ton I can do right now, because I told, my whole family, I just want to be a really chill bride. And I actually think I will be. I think I'm really good at planning and coordinating. But because I've had to produce so many things, especially in news, like you have to produce content every single day that has to air that night. So it just makes things like finding a dress and finding, all these little things for a wedding just way more chill to me. Now, the things I feel like I might stress about is definitely the people and a bridal party and things like that, because I just have so many family members and beloved friends so close to me that that's what stresses me out, I think, the most, is just potentially hurting someone's feelings, having just smaller amount of people. But I think we just have to do everything with love and kindness, and that's always where we have to come from. And just hoping and praying that people understand that this is a smaller wedding. We're doing it on our own, and there will be some things that we have to give and take on. So besides the deposit, some of the other things I was able to get done was we were reviewing photographers, and one of my really great friends, Karsten Tice, shout out to Karsten Tice Photography. She does incredible work. And I was deciding between whether it'd be best to go with a friend or go with someone at the resort, and kind of going over all the aesthetics and everything. We decided to go with Karsten. So we're so excited to have our photographer on board, locked and loaded. And also it just means so much to me to be able to support friends and family and local vendors. I know there's a lot of wedding planners on here who really warn you against using friends and family for certain things, but if that is their profession and you like their work, I say why not? And Karsten does incredible work. Another person that we were able to bring on board that was so sweet and offered her services, she's also a dear friend of mine, is my makeup and hairstylist, Aubrey Cook. Again, shout out to Aubrey Cook. I'll put all their links in my bio as well. She has been one of my best friends and has done my hair and makeup for like every shoot I could ever work with her on and hire her for, all my red carpets, everything like that. So I just knew that this would be so special. When she asked to do it, I was like, absolutely. So I feel like I got my girls ready to go. The only problem I'll have to figure out is that doing someone that is a friend of yours that lives in another state is you can't really do a bridal trial unless I were to like bring Aubrey to town or something like that. So we do have to figure that out, because I would love to do a bridal trial for my hair and makeup beforehand before we end up going to another country. So we do have to figure that out, but I'm so excited. I feel like I got down my main pieces, which were my photographer and my hair and makeup stylist. We do have to figure out our videographer. That is something I definitely want, because I just love video, I love content, and I would love to have that special moments for ourselves. So I probably will hire a videographer who is already located there, but we do have to do that research. All right, when it comes to save the dates, websites, invitations, I said, I don't want to do things like everyone else. I think certain things are really silly when it comes to weddings, and no offense to any of my friends or any of my loved ones who have done these things. I just personally don't believe in this for my wedding. And that is, I really don't like the old school, like RSVP through mail and all of that stuff. And again, we're paying for our own wedding. So my fiance and I decided that the best thing to do, especially because we're having a destination wedding, is we're not actually doing separate save the dates and invitations. We are just doing one. So it'll be one invitation that everyone will get. There is no save the date. You will just have to determine whether or not you're going, and we are not sending a card to them that they then return to us. We are putting our wedding website on the invitation, and a deadline to RSVP. Definitely stay tuned for my next video to see our save the dates because they are so freaking cute. I found a designer on Etsy and they are just wonderful and very different. And I definitely want you guys to be able to see them, but because I haven't gotten them in yet, I don't want to spoil it for any of our guests. So stay tuned for that. But there are so many different themes you can go with and different fun little cheeky things you can do. And that is exactly what we did. So we are saving a lot of money also. And I think a lot of just like stress and heartache by not sending out save the dates and then invitations and then having them mailed back to us. Because I don't really have like a wedding planner with me, I do have Maggie from Destination Weddings, but she's not gonna help me count up the RSVPs. What I also did was we created an Excel sheet and I'm getting everyone's emails because our RSVP deadline is about 9 months away from the wedding. I will be emailing out updates just every few months, getting everyone pumped. I mean, planning has always been half the fun for me when it comes to travel, so I can't wait to send these little updates. And I think we're also gonna do a little video like, hey guys, we're so excited to have you at our wedding. When it comes to wedding website, Destination Weddings does have a wedding website that you can create, but it's kind of ugly. So what we did was we created a free one on The Knot, and we're just putting a link to where to book through Destination Weddings. What's awesome is they just click on that link and then work with your travel coordinator. In our case, it's Maggie, and Maggie will help people book out their rooms, put down their deposits. They have one deposit, like 6 months out, and then another like 4 months out, something like that. So she makes it all super easy, and I'm so thankful for that. Things we still have to decide on is a potential wedding party, whether we should do one or not, how many people it should be, kind of the logistics around that. I don't think I'm doing a bridal shower, although Alan's mom said they were gonna do some sort of shower or something for me, and that is going to be so, I feel like I'm gonna cry. It's gonna be so special. This is crazy. As you guys know, my mom passed away like 6 years ago, so I'm already getting emotional because it's just so special to be able to like take on your fiance's, your future husband's mom as your mom. So if we do have any sort of bridal thing, I think it's going to be through her, and I'll have to keep you updated also on a potential bachelorette trip. My whole big thing is I know it's a big ask to have people come to a destination wedding, but it's going to be such a blast. And if that means giving up certain things like a bachelorette trip or whatnot, I really don't mind because I'm just so freaking excited for our wedding. I also have to figure out a wedding dress, you know, welcome boxes, certain things if we do a bridal party, what to do for them. So there is a lot to figure out, but this is what we have so far, about 15 months out. But honestly, I feel so stress-free. I know I don't have a dress, I don't have those types of things. And the thing that will really stress me out is people potentially coming or not coming and all of that jazz, more so about the people. But other than that, I just feel so freaking excited and pumped. I know it's gonna be a blast. It just really fits what we believe in, which is we love traveling, we love exploring other cultures, we love just making memories. Like Alan and I would love more to make memories than to buy stuff. You know what I'm saying? So if we were to have just so many memories made with our family and friends and loved ones, that's just the absolute best. It was so exciting because I recently went to LA to see all my best friends there, and it was so fun because just hanging out with them on the beach, we were like, this is the prequel to Punta Cana 2024. So it's just gonna be such a blast. I can't wait for my side to also just like get to bond with Alan's side and to just be at an all-inclusive resort. It's just, my heart is just so freaking excited. So we cannot wait. I can't wait to take you guys along. Definitely subscribe to my channel and hit this like button and let me know what other questions you have. There's still a lot to figure out, but I'm so excited to take you along on this journey. My next update will be a year out, so I'm gonna do kind of updates along the way, and you'll get to see my save the dates, and hopefully by then I have a dress and things like that. And I'll also be giving shorter form content updates on my Instagram and my TikTok. So I'll put the links in my description below so you could follow along on that. I honestly can't believe I was able to film this whole video with Luca just like dead over there. That is one thing we're sad about. Luca will not be able to attend the wedding, but I just love you, Luca, and we love you so much. Thank you guys so much for your support and helping build my channel. It is what I absolutely love most in the world, so I can't thank you guys enough. Until next time, I'll see you later. Ciao!